How's it going, everyone? Thank you once again for joining us for ZenCons Consejos. What is Consejos? Consejos is advice by Latino men for Latino men. This third episode of Consejos is a very special episode. A good friend of mine, an amazing individual who I have known for a very long time, is joining us. I'll let him introduce himself. But basically, Consejos is simply two questions, answering two basic questions. Question number one, what's the best advice that you've ever received? And question number two is looking at what advice would we give others? And we want to give the opportunity to successful Latino men to give this advice to other Latino men that are out there. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Usiel. Usiel, thank you for being with us today, brother. Thank you so much, mano.
It's my pleasure to be here, Louis. Thank you for having me. When I heard about Consejos and what it is that you were doing, I thought, what an amazing concept and what a great idea. And I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier that you invited me.
No, it's my pleasure, man, to have you. Like I said, super proud of you. Please tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, what do you do? What do you offer the community? I know that, sometimes it's hard for us to just put out ourselves like, I don't want to feel salesy. I don't want to feel like I'm, pushing myself on people and what I do. But what do you offer the community, man? Who are you and what do you offer? Dinos un poquito de ti.
Absolutely. Well, my name is Usiel Barrios. First and foremost, I'm a father of 4 boys. That is what I do. That is what keeps me the most busy. And those are my toughest clients. But I make it work. But as far as in my professional career, I'm in real estate, residential real estate to be exact. As somebody who was born and raised here in the desert, born in Agua Prieta, Sonora, Mexico, been in Tucson since I was 9. This is my home. And so my passion is ensuring that the folks who deserve a safe place, a place to call home, have the resources and the adequate guidance to ensure that they are treated fairly and that the real estate process is a process that they enjoy and the outcome is an outcome that they absolutely love. That is what brings me fulfillment. That is what I'm mostly passionate about. And so being a realtor here in Tucson is something that I take great pride in. Absolutely.
Beautiful, beautiful, man. And so folks who are looking for that support here in Tucson, please look up Usiel. We'll put some of his information up so we can kind of connect with him. Pero let's jump into this, mano. Tell us a little bit about, the advice that you've received. Who gave you this advice? Where did it come from? How has it guided your life? How has it gotten you through the ups and downs, the lefts and rights, everything in between? Share with us, what are those nuggets of knowledge that have really made it count and work for you?
2 big ones, Louis. I was trying to keep it down to one, but I have to bring up both of them. And number one is this concept that has been presented to me by more than one person, actually, in more than one way. But it really came down to something really simple. And with time, I learned that it was really hard to really understand like what it truly meant, right? And that piece of advice is just 2 words, and those 2 words were be yourself, right? I would hear the advice, mijo, just be yourself. Usiel, you just gotta be yourself. And I would hear it, and I'm like, okay, well that makes sense, but how? And am I not already being myself? Am I coming across as somebody who's inauthentic? And so, instead of spending more time trying to find out who I was in my core, I was trying to figure out, do people think I am not being authentic? And what am I doing that's causing people to think I'm being fake? Right? So I had a hard time with it, Louis, to be honest with you, for years, right? And it wasn't until probably in this last year or so that I finally got it. And the reason why that is one of the biggest pieces of advice that I got, right? Finding your true authentic self. Because when I finally got it, I reached a new level of happiness, right? And like the whole idea of being trying to fit a mold or meeting an expectation is exhausting. And in an ever-changing world, in a society that has, especially for us Latino men, who have all these added layers of pressure to try and meet this idea, especially when it comes to business and success and professionalism and white-collar society, it's tough. It's a tough idea. It's a tough world already. And then you add trying to be something that may not be who you are at your core. There's this conflict, right? And so when I overcame that, Louis, when I finally realized, oh my goodness, like this past year, the reason why I'm like achieving these new levels of success and why I'm finally happier and fulfilled is because I'm not trying to be anybody else other than who I am. And like you give yourself this permission to love yourself, accept yourself, and then understand that when you act from a place of authenticity, you allow your light to shine and you engage people in your business, in your personal life, in your family, and by not trying to be anything else other than who you are deep inside, it's the best feeling. It's the best feeling. So when people say, oh, be yourself, be authentic, I'm like, absolutely. Yes, that is the best thing that you can do is be yourself.
Awesome. So that's your first piece. You said you had two. So what's your second one? If that's your first one, I'm excited to hear what your second one is.
Number two is what allowed me to make number one a reality. And number two is this idea of vulnerability and asking for help. Right? Before I could actually find out who I was in my core, I couldn't do that by myself. I needed to talk to people. I needed to say, hey, my wife, what does that mean? What does that mean? How come I'm struggling with it so much? I would meet with people for lunch, mentors, people who I consider to be, somebody who could guide me. I would say, what does authenticity mean? And how come I'm struggling with it so much? So number two is asking for help, accepting that not knowing doesn't mean that you're weak or that you matter less or somehow your value goes out the window the moment you ask for help, right? And in fact, it's the opposite. It takes a tremendous amount of strength and confidence to be able to say, I don't know. Can you help me? What does this mean? I'm struggling. So number two is coming to peace with that. Coming to peace that you can't do it alone. You shouldn't go at it alone. There are people in your circle, even if it doesn't feel that way, that want to see you successful, that want to see you thrive, that want to see you happy, and that will invest the time and energy to make sure that you get there. And so when I realized that and I started to reach out and started to feel more comfortable with the idea of being vulnerable, I was able to find out who I really was. Again, hand in hand, my authenticity was able to shine, and I was able to achieve different areas of success that I wouldn't have been able to achieve if A, I wouldn't have made peace with my authenticity, and B, I wouldn't have been able to get there if it wasn't for the fact that I made peace with me asking for help and showing vulnerability.
Beautiful, Manu. Beautiful. Thank you so much for being vulnerable and for your willingness to come on and share that. It is big, not only for you to say it, but I think for all of us to hear it. ¿Verdad? So with that, let's go to this next part, right? The second question. And the second question is, you've experienced a lot. You're saying you came from Agua Prieta, Sonora, coming here at 9 years of age, all the trials, tribulations for yourself, for your familia, for your circle, your friends, the community. And I know you're very community oriented, right? What has all of that taught you now where you have the ability to give advice to others? Let's say somebody who's starting out, somebody who maybe isn't ready for the authentic self conversation or asking for help conversation. Just back it up just a little bit, right? And think about, what it would help to get somebody to that point. What advice do you have for somebody who's trying to get there, who maybe has struggled or, is struggling with this idea of prioritizing? Is it me? Is it my community? Is it my family? Is it everything? What goes first? Is it help others? Is it help myself? have all these questions.
Yeah, I mean, it's important, right? Honestly, if I had one piece of advice, it would be gratitude. We have to always remain grateful for what has been laid out before us, grateful for generations before us and what they did, what they've done, so that we could be here, even having these conversations. This whole idea of business and success and transitions. I mean, a really good friend of mine once told me, even if we fail after time and time again of attempting to achieve new levels of success, we're still living our ancestors' wildest dreams, right? And I think that was you who told me that, Mr. Pete. And if we're not grateful and if we're not aware of the road that's been paved before us to be able to get here, and we do achieve levels of success, it's not going to mean what it should mean had we been acting from a place of gratitude. I think if we allow ourselves to act from a place of gratitude on a daily basis, on a morning routine, whether it's a journal, whether it's meditation, whether it's, just saying it out loud. I am grateful for A, I'm grateful for B, C, D, 1, 2, 3. Every morning, it'll set the tone for you to accomplish so much more on that day, but also for it to mean so much more. Everything will have much more meaning if it comes from a place of gratitude. Because oftentimes we'll forget. We get so stuck on the rat race. We get so hyper focused on our goals for that day, our tasks, right? Checking off the list. And then at the end of the day, maybe we got it all, maybe we didn't. But if we just did everything from a place of gratitude and we remember that no matter what happens, let's be grateful for what it is that we have, even if it's small, whether it's small, medium, or big, let's be grateful for that so that when we achieve something greater, it means that much more.
Beautiful, beautiful, man. I mean, again, for everybody watching, this is the advice that comes from our community, from the men who have struggled to get to where they're at. I know I've known Usiel for a very long time, right? Since he was, 14, 15 years old, and to see your success, Mano, super proud of you. And you're right. I want to see you successful. I'm somebody in your circle that wants to see you successful. And I think you're doing it, you're accomplishing it. And for you to offer your time and to offer this advice is extremely meaningful. I know there's somebody out there who needs to hear this, right? We may not know who they are. We may not be correct. Maybe we do, and they're just afraid to ask, right? So
right.
We're trying to make it easier for people to access. And so for all the folks that are out there who have trusted me with, with coaching and with, asking for advice, and, the Latino men and their partners who have reached out to say, you know what, you need to connect with somebody. You need to look for that mentor. You need to look for that coach to get you to the next level, so you're not doing it alone. I just want to appreciate all those folks who have been willing to take that step with me along, on this journey. And so, Usiel, I'm super grateful, man. Thank you so much for coming on board and for sharing these words. Is there anything you want to share, just, to head us out?
Again, thank you, Louis. Thank you for the impact that you're having. The coaching, the one-on-one coaching that you do is, I believe, a big part of the equation as to how, as a community, we're going to be able to get to that next level, how we're going to be able to take, back control of our destiny. Honestly, it's control of what we want our future to look like. We cannot do it by ourselves. So continue to do the work that you do, please, because I think that's where the answer is at. We need to be able to ask for help, work together, whether it's on a group setting or one-on-one coaching. That is what's really going to help get us to that place where collectively we can become a healthier, more vibrant community. But for those of you who have questions, who are curious about what the home ownership process can look like, if you're in a situation where maybe you want to sell your home to get something different, don't be afraid. Give me a call, a text, email, whatever it is that you want to do. We can go for a walk in the park and just talk about that process. Investing in real estate is probably the quickest way for you to achieve financial freedom. And I would love to be a part of that journey with you. So if you give me that opportunity, I'll treat you to a cafecito or whatever it is that you're comfortable doing. But I would love to see the members of our community achieve that level of financial freedom. And real estate and investment is the quickest way to get there.
Awesome. On that note, folks, just want to thank everybody who joined us again for another episode of Consejos. I think, again, Usiel, thank you so much. Please, folks, heed these words of advice. If not these, then search for other advice. We'll catch you in the next episode. What's up, everybody? Bye-bye. Thanks so much.